Dub Nation, where you at? Golden State Warriors. Hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Is everybody okay? This is a safe space despite that, 40, 50, 70 point thrashing by the Celtics just the other night. Hey, what a day, right? For us Warriors fans, for us Golden State Bay Area folk, or wherever you're at, us Dub Nation. What a way to celebrate Martin Luther King Day than to just see the Boston Celtics absolutely smack your team around. Absolutely gut punch them, slap them in the face, and the Warriors were just like proverbially bleeding and just standing there and doing nothing about it. It was sad and it was sickening, but hey, we're going to move past that because honestly, like reality tells us that the Warriors are actually sort of still in the hunt, right? I'm not even kidding. Not in the hunt of like the championships, but like the playoff hunt, the play-in hunt, right? Despite their atrocious overall play, the Golden State Warriors have been bailed out by their 12-3, 12-4 early record, right? They had a really easy schedule, dealt with no injuries early when other teams were. So the Warriors were able to like cakewalk to an easy 12-3, let's just say that record. Okay. Because of that, the Dubs are like still within striking distance. I believe that yes, they are like 3 or 4 games out of like 12th place or like 11 and just out. But they're also, I believe, 2 or 3 games within 6th place. Yes, the Golden State Warriors are right there with the likes of the Kings, with the likes of the Suns, who just made a big a prelude to a big trade just now, pretty much. But hey, roll with me. Hey, I know that you're going to understand me here, Warriors fans, okay? Because listen to this, okay? Surely, if the Warriors want to compete this season, surely they'll make a trade or two to tweak stuff, right? Surely they'll make at least 1 or 2 trades if they want to compete this year before the trade deadline. Hey, Dub Nation, watch this. Watch this, Warriors fans. This is also true. This is where C-Train just gets to turn it up on front office. Hey, Warriors front office. If you want to make a big trade in the offseason, though, if you're waiting and want to make that big splash in the offseason, surely you'll trade for assets before the deadline, right? For capital, for your big trade in the offseason, right? No, listen to this. So here's the bottom line. There's less than no excuse for the Warriors not to make a move. Again, if you want to make a win now move, get Vucevic or trade a few second rounders, right, for Vucevic, you got to make a trade. Hey, if you want to make a big move in the offseason, right, you want to see if any of they've seemingly waited on Giannis for the last 10 seasons. Is that how long Giannis has even been in the league? Probably. Anyways, long story short, if they want to make a big splash in the offseason, they really need to make a trade now for the capital to do that, right? So here's an example. Like the Warriors could trade Dennis Schroeder for possibly up to and a future few seconds, possibly for a late first, right? What could the Warriors get for Moses Moody? He's locked into a contract now, but I believe Gary Payton is an expiring contract. Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson is like a DNP. Kyle Anderson doesn't even play most of the time. The Warriors could flip Kyle Anderson into draft capital. Will they? It doesn't bother me if the Warriors don't make that huge move, but what absolutely bothers me, right, is that the Warriors, if they say, hey, we're not going to make a big move now, we're waiting. We're going to wait until the offseason when things sort of open up. Stop. You prepare for the offseason with this trade deadline. So, for example, if the Warriors just weren't going to do anything last trade deadline, I believe they still could have traded CP3 away and gotten draft capital back. It's letting expiring contracts go for nothing when you know that you're building for the future that kills me. So it's like the Warriors would rather see Gary Payton II just not play with the Warriors and sit on the bench than get draft capital for him. then get something for the guy. He's a free agent next season. Yeah, he just resigns, right? That's what kills me. Is Looney on? Because the Warriors do have a few contracts that are expiring at the end of this season. So in the offseason, it's not going to do them any good. They're just a waste of space, waste of contracts. That's what kills me, though, is that the Warriors are like, hey, we're not going to make a trade to win now, but also we're not going to make any precursor trades or anything like that to help us get the capital for a trade in the future. They're just sitting there. Y'all, they're just sitting there. They're sitting there like jackasses. I rarely swear on C-Train Station. They're just sitting there. There's no excuse to not make a move to help Steph Curry. And if there was, there's no excuse to help yourself in the future, right? So, moving on. I absolutely do not think that the Warriors, they're not able to make a trade right now. Like Mike Dunleavy Jr., the general manager, said that trades are really hard. He's not a deal guy. He doesn't really get things done. So what I've done anyways is we're going to talk about some draft prospects, because I believe that if the Warriors maintain their status right now, they'll teeter, within that, like in the teens pick for the draft. And I'm here to tell you that this season or this upcoming draft, there's some really good, really, really, really good draft prospects, and a few that might fit the Golden State Warriors just to a T. Here's a few draft prospects. Now, I'm going to have this caveat. I believe that the Warriors should buy or trade for a big man. I do not believe that they are capable of drafting and developing a big man. How about this? In the history of the Warriors, been following the team since like 92, 93, right? Since the early 90s, you can't develop big men. Like Antoine Jameson isn't a big man, by the way. Like nobody. Eric Dampier, shut up with that BS, okay? Stop it. It's not like he's like barely serviceable, okay? Look, the Warriors, because of how Steve Kerr runs the team, because the team will still have Stephen Curry on it, we're expecting them to be a small ball team, right? Which means that you just have to invest that a few second rounders in a player like Jonas Valanciunas or Vucevic, who are available. They could be key cogs in winning right now and cementing that position for the future, because this is why. And this is why. So remember, I want them to get either Vucevic or Jonas Valanciunas with draft capital and keep them for next season. And this is why. For the run on draft prospects, when you're looking at the next draft, it is guard heavy, and there are some instant impact guards and guards who I believe will be future NBA stars. Let's start. Let's go over with a few of them, actually. So Dylan Harper is the first guard that we're going to talk about. He is, I believe, Ron Harper's son. 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", tight handle out of Rutgers University. Tight handle, sneaky good finisher at the rim. His defense, if his defense shows elite promise, Dylan Harper is a player that will be C-Train certified. That's pending really good to elite defense, though. That's a big pending, right? Is almost a can't-miss prospect, because we're talking about a guard who is able to, in a Steve Kerr system, can guard 1 through 4. I believe that literally Dylan Harper can guard 4s in the for Steve Kerr, he'll like have to, right? But he is almost not like a can't-miss, but he is a very high ceiling and he's got a high floor, I believe, because of his attributes, because of his base handle, and the fact that he can get to the rim and he's a sneaky finisher. Let's move on, though. VJ Edgecomb. This is one of the players that we got to look out for. Really, really look out for. I want some more Dub Nation, some Warriors eyes, if you will, on VJ Edgecomb. Now, he's a guard from Baylor. He's a basketball player from Baylor. How about we'll just say that? Like, I get it. Not the best shooter. Shot selection. He averages a few turnovers a game, I believe is what. Listen, he averages 2.4 plus steals a game. VJ Edgecomb is a guard who averages 2.4 steals a game. Is he a game-changing defender? He was hailed as the best defensive player, essentially, coming out of high school last year. And he is dominating at the defensive end for Baylor, known for their defense, right? Davion Mitchell, Jeremy Sohan, known for their defensive players. And Edgecomb is, I believe, the elite of those Baylor prospects. And that is saying so much. At almost 6'5", VJ Edgecomb would easily have the impact of like a Melton, a D'Anthony Melton and Andrew Wiggins combination, but with like a better handle and just a different dribbling skill set. He's able to create for others. He's able to create for himself, but gosh, he's just scratching his potential. But here's the thing. If you're talking about a Warriors team, a hypothetical potential Warriors team to where they do, you re-sign Jonathan Kuminga. It looks like they're going to. Jonathan Kuminga's had a real amazing run of games before he got injured, but we're going tip of the spear with VJ Edgecomb and with Jonathan Kuminga. And then we're talking, those two can run teams ragged by themselves. And then we're talking about the big payload. Everybody knows what the big payload is, right? Mr. Stephen Curry. So that's what I call it. Tip of the spear with VJ Edgecomb, point of attack defense, and penetrating on offense. While also Jonathan Kuminga will penetrate, will make plays on offense with Edgecomb. But the payload, the cash money, the dude who's getting those buckets is still going to be Stephen Curry moving forward. Gosh, I really like the end-to-end ability of VJ Edgecomb. And then I'll stop after this because, look, he's only averaging like 13. He's at like 13 points, 6 boards, 3 or 4 assists a game, but he's averaging 2.4 steals a game. But here's the thing that I can say. My first intuitions my first glances, essentially, have almost never been wrong. Have literally almost always been right. I'll tell you this. When I first saw Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, play, it seemed as though he took one dribble, but he was like at the three-point line. Took one dribble and tried to dunk the ball. I was like, okay, got it. I haven't seen that. VJ Edgecomb is not at that athletic ability. However, it's enough. The dude has enough athletic ability that I'm like, wow. There's this one time where he's playing defense. He gets a steal, and I have to count the dribbles. It's almost like he's too fast for the ball. Like, he's just too fast when he's running, dribbling with the ball. It's just like overwhelming speed. That's what Russell Westbrook was absolutely like at UCLA, and I watched like literally all of his games. Not in person, but anyways. So, VJ Edgecomb, I would deal, if you could give me, if you could somehow give me Edgecomb, Curry, Edgecomb, Kuminga, Wiggins, and like a Valanciunas or Vucevic, you are cooking with fire. You're cooking right there, okay? I left out Draymond. I absolutely did. I'm not sure what he wants to do. It doesn't seem like, and this is just the truth for Warriors fans, it doesn't seem like Draymond Green is the most interested in his basketball career. He's doing the podcast. He's in contract talks with ESPN, TNT, or something like that, I believe. They were just rumors out just the other day. So his focus is just so much on other things. The obsession with basketball, which you kind of have to succeed. You don't have to be that upset, but look, I don't think that Draymond's in it to win it anymore, and I think that that's okay. It's like Steph has to be in it to win it because he's freaking Steph, and that's like his gift and curse. I wouldn't mind seriously a Curry, Edgecomb, Kuminga, Wiggins, and like a Vucevic lineup next season. I know. It's tough to say, but I actually like that vision going forward. There's like They need to work on range a little bit, right? Because Jonathan Kuminga has not proven to be capable outside shooter or like deadly. Anyways, let's move on. Okay. Nolan Traore. I really, really like Nolan Traore. And I think that he will be very liked. So my prediction with Traore is that scouts and teams are going to love him. They're going to love. Some team is going to fall in love with Nolan Traore, and it might be the Warriors. That's where Mike Dunleavy Jr. was last week. He was in France or in Europe scouting this dude. He reminds me of Lamelo Ball, but without the flair, and I really like that. Okay, he reminds me. I think that the team that drafts Traore is going to have to, he's going to have a crew. I think he's going to have a crew, or else his talents aren't going to be as like accentuated, I guess. He's a wonderful passer. That's the thing. Traore is like beautiful he's a great shot creator for others, and he can really see the floor, and he understands that spacing, right? He really understands it. He's good. I don't know, this six, because it's like a lot of people, some scouts are saying like best French guard since Tony Parker. He could be like Tony Parker 2.0. And the scary thing is that I see it would take, if he falls out of the lottery, then done. But I believe that the Warriors would have to trade up to take Traore, and Edgecomb versus Traore, it's going to be tough because Edgecomb plays that elite defense. Defense is half of the freaking game. And the Warriors were studs with Melton, even though it was a cupcake schedule. They were still studs with Melton at that defensive 2 position. Let's talk a little about Kasparas Jakacionis. Vixis. Okay, I'll get that right someday. Out of Illinois. He's a guard out of Illinois. And here's the thing about him. God, I should like Jakacionis. We're just going to go with that right there. Jakacionis. I like him. I should like him enough to freaking get his name right, especially because my last name is like a pain to spell. Anyway, sorry. I should like him more than I do, though. He reminds me of Brandon Podz. Like, it's like he reminds me if like Brandon Podz was trying to be more like Tyler Hero. And that's kind of who Kasparas he reminds me of. Gosh, I could definitely see the Warriors drafting this dude. They drafted Podz, right? The upside, he is an 18-year-old, 6'6" point guard. In terms of decision making, it's like not 100% with him. I see like not lapses in decision making. I don't see his decisiveness. That's what I mean. Okay. So Kasparas, he's not as decisive as Traore, even as a VJ Edgecomb. When Edgecomb misses, he misses big sometimes, but at least he commits, right? Sometimes it's like Kasparas is sort of, he's just really indecisive, exactly like how I'm talking right now. Anyways, so yes, I think I noted, buy a big man or trade for a big, okay? The Warriors can't and shouldn't develop. I don't even think that they should be developing their bigs at this point. I'm not even kidding. Like, great, Trace Jackson Davis is like sort of serviceable, but he can't finish around the basket for the life of him. So, okay, like it's just the Warriors at some point need to put a little bit of some money behind that center position. And gosh, just a little bit of thought, right? Gosh, they could have had like, there are lots of big men out there for like, that are very affordable, right? The Warriors got to do better with that. They really do need to do better. Because like a Valanciunas or Vucevic, both of them relatively would spread the court, but it's also the size difference in pick and rolls is devastating. So think about this real quick. Think about this. And this is why a lot of people are like fan of the pick and roll. I'm not as much of a fan with the Warriors doing consistent pick and roll, and this is why Stephen Curry can't take that load anymore. He cannot take the dribbling load of just going consistently into pick and roll situations. He needs to be off ball. He likes to be off ball. He thrives in the movement of off ball. But here's the thing. The reason why you do go to those pick and roll scenarios when it's in a clinch is because of we gotta think. Steph does a pick and roll with Draymond Green. They're relatively the same size. Draymond's listed at 6'5"? Okay, so if a power forward switches on or the center, who Draymond's guarding, switches on, it's less of a difference for the center. So say that Jose Alvarado is guarding Steph in a pick and roll situation, okay? But now Vucevic or now Valanciunas is on the squad. If they can catch Alvarado in that pick, they now have Alvarado guarding them. That is now a 7-footer on a 6-footer. Instead of a 6'4" guy, Draymond, unable to take advantage of those crucial pick and roll situations. So look, dribble handoff and all that stuff, all that weavy dribble handoff motion, Draymond's decent and is still good at that. Good to great, okay? A standard pick and roll situation, though, Draymond does not have the effect as a player who is able to take advantage offensively, of a big man who's able to take advantage of the situation offensively. Bottom line. So I've pointed out a lot of holes in the Warriors game, right? But there is so much to like. There still is a lot to like with the Dubs. Despite the fact that they're just consistently playing poorly, there's still, the good news is the NBA, it looks like, isn't the best, right? There are a few squads that are out there, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Cavs. But honestly, it's there's room to navigate in the middle. There's room to navigate in the middle. And I think that the Warriors, if they get some action, right? If they get some traction behind their wheels, they can really, really do some damage. But I'll tell you what, the only way that they won't do any damage is if they do nothing. To do nothing. To just say, hey, to quit, right? To say hey, I'm not going to turn GP2, I believe he's an expiring contract, into draft picks, because I'd rather see him get do not plays on the bench. Okay, I don't know where to go, right? It's tough. The Warriors have to get active. They have to, and even if they're not active in getting a star now, they need to be proactive in getting the capital for the future. Expect some Warriors moves. Hey, and one more time, of course, hey, thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for staying with me. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and following C-Train Station. But hey, who is one player? How about this? Who is one player in college, high school, or the frickin' pros who you would like to see on the Golden State Warriors? I'll see you next time. And of course, for your Golden State Warriors content, like, subscribe, follow, and I'll see you next time at C-Train Station. Have a good one.